It turned out that the Shigir Idol is twice as old as the pyramids. A curious human-like figure carved from wood and discovered in the Russian steppe has been found by scientists to be more than twice as old as the Egyptian pyramids. In 1894, miners digging for gold uncovered parts of the tall wooden structure known as the Shigir Idol. However, it was not until about 100 years later, in the late 1990s, that researchers used radiocarbon dating to determine that the structure had the staggering age of 10,000 years. According to scientists, it is the oldest wooden monumental sculpture in the world. That study and the corresponding dating, however, were not entirely reliable because they included and were based on only 2 pieces of the idol. Recently, scientists conducted a more comprehensive analysis and discovered that the idol is in fact much older than previously thought, about 11,500 years old. This means that the Shigir Idol was created immediately after the last ice age. As a result, this wooden structure is twice as old as the Great Pyramid of Khufu, which was built around 2550 BC. In addition to updating the sculpture's birthday, researchers discovered a previously unknown face carved into the Shigir Idol. Notes researcher Thomas Terberger, an archaeologist at the State Office for Cultural Heritage of Lower Saxony in Hanover, Germany. Scientists describe the fact that the Shigir Idol has survived for all this time as a true miracle. When assembled, the individual parts of the human, like wooden figure, reach a height of more than 5 meters. Unfortunately, some of these parts were lost long ago, and today the idol stands at about 3.4 meters tall, Terberger said. The public can see the carved anthropomorphic figure at the Yekaterinburg Regional Museum. When I first visited the Regional Museum in Yekaterinburg, I was completely surprised to see this large wooden sculpture as part of the exhibition. Terberger says, if you approach the sculpture, you will notice that it is decorated with geometric figures and several small human faces. About 20 years after the discovery of the Shigir Idol, researcher Vladimir Yakovlevich Tolmakov presented illustrations of the idol, noting the 5 faces of the structure, according to the researchers who prepared the new study. In 2003, a 6th face, resembling an animal more than a human with its rectangular nose, was discovered by researcher Svetlana Savchenko, a scientist at the Yekaterinburg Regional Museum. Much like playful children's games in which one has to count how many faces can be found in a picture, the idol once again surprised scientists and researchers in 2014 when Savchenko and project leader Mikhail Jilin, an archaeologist at the Institute of Archaeology in Moscow, discovered a 7th face, disguised as a scratch on the Shigir Idol. These discoveries and the carvings of human and animal faces show that the hunter-gatherers of Eurasia living at that time began to develop a sense of the past and the future, and an awareness of being part of history, creating one of the earliest examples of art from the early Mesolithic period. Such a large sculpture would have occupied a central place in the life of the hunter-gatherer community and may have been an important element in demonstrating affiliation with different clans. Terberger says, it is also possible that the Shigir Idol was connected to specific myths and gods, but this is difficult to prove.